day, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to another technical summary video presented by me, Letty Janse van Vuren. The topic that I chose for today's video is the brand new fit and proper policy that was gazetted and issued by IRBA. So what is this all about? Let's go and have a look. I'm going to start off by looking at why this is important, going through a quick introduction, then I'm going to look at an overview of the publication, and then I'm going to summarize the most important aspects for you. Right. And then the source and bonus documents, there are links to that I will give to you. But if you look at the pictures, you'll see we are definitely dealing here with IRBA. We are dealing with the term registered auditor, and we are dealing with people who look fit and proper. Right. I took these because the guys, you can see that they're busy exercising, and that makes them fit. So I'm a picture person. That's why I have that there. So let's go and have a look. The abbreviations that I use in today's video is IRBA, which is the IRBA, also known as, all right? I just say IRBA, so forgive me if you say IRBA. I don't mean to offend you, but it stands for the Independent Regulatory Board for Auditors. RA everywhere means Registered Auditor, and APA stands for the Auditing Profession Act. Why is this so important? Well, simply because auditors need to be aware of the latest publications that are issued by IRBA. And because this policy is applicable to all registered auditors, all prospective auditors, everybody who wants to re-register as an auditor, it is important that we all know about this. Your clients obviously no relevance here. As part of an introduction, I've already told you that IRBA gazetted this policy document, and this policy document lists factors that may affect an auditor's fitness to practice the profession, as well as those that definitely will. So it distinguishes between what are the factors that can affect your fitness as an auditor. Fitness as an auditor means, are you fit enough to practice the profession? And I think you've got to have a lot of guts to practice the profession as well. If you have a look at the latest public inspections report, I did an ad hoc webinar on that, I think on the 26th of February. Yeah, on the 26th of February 2024, if you want to go and go and purchase that little 2-hour document there, 2-hour webinar, it looks at the dwindling numbers. We were shocked when we discovered to see exactly how few RAs are left in South Africa. And I'm telling you the rate we're going now, because remember in the old days, I mean, when I qualified, not that I'm that old, but suppose it is the older days. When I qualified, I could register immediately afterwards as both a CA with SAICA and an RA with IRBA. Now you've got to do that additional specialism course. You've got to do your audit specialism, and you have to do that at an auditing firm, right? So there is that additional period, and not many clerks that qualify as CAs are now taking this route to become auditors. Mark my words, from today, a couple of years from now, we're going to have a huge shortage, because the majority of the people that are registered as auditors still, a lot of them are above 50 and in their 60s. And I mean, the majority is probably still in the age range, like 35, 40s, or thereabouts. But still, I mean, there's going to be a gap soon. So this fit and proper policy is effective immediately from the date that it was gazetted. So from the 7th of December. And it, like I told you, it applies to all registered auditors, as well as those seeking registration or re-registration. Fit and proper auditors, they say, are important to preserve the integrity and the good reputation of the profession. It is crucial for them to maintain public confidence. We all know what happened with the whole Enron debacle, and we know what happened with Steinhoff, and it was just very bad because the auditor's name became mud. So what's going to happen here? Let's ask this first of all. What happens if you are not fit and proper? What does non-compliance mean? If an auditor has been found not to be fit and proper, they will not be registered as an auditor. If they are already registered, their registration won't be renewed, or it could immediately be cancelled in line with whatever procedures they've got. If it is regarded as improper conduct in terms of the code of conduct, then it can even be referred to IRBA's investigation department. Right. So you might even be subject to disciplinary action and so on. So it's important that we understand these new fit and proper policies needed to come in, because everybody said, well, how do we know that we are, strong and fit enough? We know that we must have the technical competency. We know that we've got to comply with our professional competence and due care, which is a fundamental principle. But in addition to that, we have to be properly fit. Okay. So let's go and have a look at the publication itself. It's only 6 pages, all right? And I've given you quite a nice summary here. But in terms of the APA, section 6 and 37 sets out the requirements. This one sets out the requirements for fit and proper auditors, right? So the contents that I've given you here, there's an introduction, purpose, scope, legislative frameworks. The definition is quite important. And the policy statements, number 6, is probably the most important section here. So this is what the front page looks like. It says fit and proper policy. Let me take you through the most important aspects, which are the policy statement, section 6. So what does it say about the fit and proper requirements? Well, a fit and proper person is who? What does a fit and proper person look like? Think back to my picture on the welcome slide. Well-toned people. How does a well-toned auditor? What do they look like? Right. Doesn't mean that you've got to be built like a supermodel and wear gym clothes now all of a sudden. A fit and proper person from an IRBA perspective is a person of integrity and in good standing. That's what it means when you are fit and proper. You are fit, right? Because you are in good standing, which means that you're kept up to date and all those type of things. And you also are a person of integrity. There's absolutely not one single test that you can say, well, what are the tick boxes? How do we know when somebody is fit and proper? They exercise regularly. Okay, check. No, definitely not. It is going to be an assessment on a case by case basis to see what does that person do, what do they do with the designation of RA. Being an RA, what are they exposed to? What do they do? Right. So in order to practice as an RA, these are the key areas that you've got to be fit and proper in terms of ethics, which we know, prescribed competencies, financial soundness, and capability. Right. So that you've got to be able to demonstrate these four, and then you'll be fit and proper. Right. So it does beg the question, what does financial soundness have to do with it? Because we all go through financial difficulty sometimes, and it's not like all RAs are stinking rich. Right, let's just get that straight off the bat, because that is definitely not true. But it also means that there are certain circumstances that can lead to that may affect your fitness to practice in the profession. So this is in 6.2 in your fit and proper policy. Some of the factors that may affect the auditor's fitness. Now remember, it depends on the circumstances. So it's not a hard and fast yes it will. Dishonesty, breach of confidentiality, criminal convictions in relation to offences other than those set out in 6.3.1.2. And in 6.3.1.2, on the next slide, you'll see they list the ones that will affect your fitness. Things like a criminal conviction for theft, fraud, forgery, perjury, and so forth. All right. So, criminal conviction, let's say for speeding, that's something that may affect your fitness. I always say, is this something that is a headline? If it's a news headline that can bring the profession into disrepute, and is it that serious? Order to court racing on highway, fined for driving 200 kilometers an hour. Yeah, it's if they're convicted, they pay the fine. I don't know. If they put him in jail overnight, then you've got a criminal record. Does that now mean that you are not fit and proper to practice as an auditor? See, there's a difference. So we're talking here about the big sins and the little sins. Failure to satisfy financial commitments or obligations. So if you are not keeping up with your debt covenants and everything, you are blacklisted and all sorts. Together with insolvency, those are things that may affect your fitness to practice, because you are going to be dealing with other people's money and you're going to have to give them advice, and you can't even sort out your own thing. Suppose it's a much of a muchness where the mechanic's car is always broken or the plumber's toilet always leaks. But yeah, professional sequestration, or not professional, sorry, provisional sequestration, entering into a compromise with creditors. So that's the payment plans, application for debt review. These are all signs that you may not be as financially fit as you should be. Dismissal from previous employment for misconduct. Okay, it's not a hard and fast yes, it will. It may affect your fitness. A guilty finding in respect of many misconduct in relation to professional activities. So your auditing and everything assurance that you do, or any sort of tarnished reputation. Right, so a shameful article sees the light and your name gets dragged through the mud. That is something that IRBA might consider as, is this something that makes you not fit to practice as an auditor? Right. Suppose it depends on how your reputation was tarnished. I don't want to go into any details there, but yeah, there could be very severe things. Right. Factors affecting the auditor's fitness as stipulated in 6.3 are now the factors that will affect the auditor's fitness to practice. The first one is removal from an office of trust. That's because there was misconduct related to discharge of the office. So you were removed from an office of trust. Number 2 talks about the conviction, and this is the list. The convictions other than these may lead, these convictions will affect your, will make you unfit. So this is theft, theft, fraud, forgery, uttering a forged document, right? So creating or saying that, perjury, an offense under PRECA, right? So your Corrupt Activities Act, or any other offense involving dishonesty other than an offense committed prior to the 27th of April associated with political objectives. So prior to that, you could have been dishonest in relation to the political objectives, but not after that. Declaration by a competent court that you are of unsound mind, or you can't manage your own affairs. Because if you can't manage your own affairs, they certainly don't want you in a position of protecting the public trust. Disqualification from registration under a sanction imposed in terms of the APA, so that you are not able to register as an auditor again, then that's it. Right. So the fit and proper policy focuses on these factors: what may affect your fitness and what will affect your fitness. The source and bonus documents that I've given you here are straightforward, the fit and proper policy document, and then I've just given you a link to access the government gazette as well. Right, and that in a nutshell is the new fit and proper policy. So if you have any more questions or you still need more detail, please remember knowledge is power. So please go and check out our technical alerts. You can go and follow SA Accounting Academy on LinkedIn, or you can go to the news section on the SAAA website on a daily basis. I provide the technical content for them and they upload it. Right. That's how I remain up to date. Then there's SAA's YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. And on that same YouTube channel, you will also find all my other TSVs that I've done, the technical summary videos. There are hundreds of them already. I do about 8 every month, but they are the short summaries like this one that we've just had. Then there are webinars on demand, which is our 2 or 4 hour webinars that you can go and get the recordings for and work through it at your own pace. And then lastly, last but not least, the MCLU subscription. Staying up to date on all the latest developments on a monthly basis is certainly worth that little bit of an investment there as well. Right. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. And in a nutshell, the brand new fit and proper policy as it was gazetted by IRBA. I hope you enjoyed this information session. Thank you and goodbye.